Hi folks, this is Jack with Shar Music. Today on the workshop, we're going to take a look at Thomastik's tie violin strings. Since these two are basically siblings of each other, tonally, there's really not a heck of a lot of difference. You know, the Rondo's a bit more soloistic, the ties are a little bit more orchestral. So today on the workshop, we're going to focus on some other strengths. We're going to compare ties with Thomastik's own Peter Infeld, as well as Thomastik's dominant and Pierastro's Evah Pirazzi. I've wrangled Tina to come play for us, so without further ado, let's take a deep dive into Thomastik's own tie strings. So Tina, I'm very curious, in particular, you know, Thomastik dominants are tremendously popular, and I think in part because they have that kind of a softer feel under the left hand. Now, how did Thomastik's tie strings compare to dominants under the left hand?
So, I think under the fingers it definitely feels softer.
Ties feel softer than dominants? Interesting, yes. Okay.
Even softer. It has a very flexible reflection on the finger.
Okay.
So when you press harder, it actually doesn't push you back as much as dominant.
Okay, very interesting.
I think it's softer.
Excellent.
Yes.
So my next question for you, Tina, I'm very curious about the bow response, and in particular, you know, Peter Infeld, very popular, very soloistic strings. How did the Peter Infeld, the bow response on those compare to the bow response for tie?
That's a great question. I wouldn't say it's a response rate.
Okay.
I would say it's more of a color.
Okay, sure.
So I think all Thomastik strings has the similar feeling of the bow response.
Sure.
But tie definitely has more color.
Sure. Okay.
Panels, so you can create more different, really fine colors in between colors. Tie is a little more straightforward.
Sure.
So it's a very solid color. So I would say the color comparison is different.
Okay, interesting, very cool. Tina, the last question I have for you today, do you feel that Thomastik tie strings are in that same sort of echelon as Evah Pirazzi and Peter Infeld?
I wouldn't think so.
Okay.
I would say it's a step up student.
Okay.
Set of strings that if you are really looking for soft feeling under the fingers and clarity of speaking, I would recommend tie.
Okay.
But I wouldn't compare tie to
Peter Infeld and Evah Pirazzi. You're thinking really, you know, here's dominant as more of a, you know, a really, really good student string. You're thinking tie is actually probably an upgrade over the dominants.
Yes.
All right, very interesting. Well, hey folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you learned a little bit about Thomastik's tie strings, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of you here next time on The Workshop.
1, 2, 3. And left.
There we go. Do you think ties are really in that same level of string as Evah Pirazzi? You know what? I don't need your crap. I heard it come out of my mouth. I know it was garbled.
So, Jack.
What? Hey,